though it's a bit belatedly, but since you beckon us to be here, I'm rather turning it around. We graciously welcome you, sir, to our first meeting as the Standing Committee of the National House of Chiefs. We graciously do welcome you, and once again, congratulations. You've done well, and as majority of us anticipated.
Right. I was for Mama Munina Kwaba. We Premier Minoka saying, Mr. President John Dramani Mahama, NFA National House of Chiefs, Nanan Matran Kunya, war manum, one munina shia, na one mushia no ye, dear Samoa. Na ansana midobo called the intia, Mr. President, a first emergency meeting, ya one Nanan Matran Kunya shia, and come on, dear, Medebe Brown. Person Matia says, Omano, Amamrani Amanie, Amampani Bia no wetimi atotona se, nti Mampani Bia obebe bia no, eso wohwe na wo hunu se wod nananom ede amawon. Nti Mr. President, ene nananom hyiae, na hye mu hyiae no, ho nsem na mpese me no edi ho nkomo ansana ye hunu. Na before that no, mamemo akwa ba ha the reason so. Wonim se currently Mr. President baye eyade a krata ya da ha ya wo hwei. Mr. President say why day why ensesaye ewo ministries ewo ho no wasesem etimi no kasisi e chieftaincy ministry ni eni ho bio nemum ode aba be hye ode wasesa no de aba be hye ha sei yenhwe wase ode aba hye sei number 12 Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. They say Chieftaincy Ministry na nenu nkwade no Mr. President Executive Order why and say what the ababa share number 12 Minister of Local Government ho and it say o hwehwa obehu Chieftaincy Ministry no afi yankwe anim. Now Mr. President the Chieftaincy Ministry akoshe local government ase no what on the friend and animatran kunyina from National House of Chiefs na yena na mampohini di nkomo bi ho mepese otie woman o gena nananum nyina namu na mampohini gina o manam ama Mr. President akwaba no asem o kan ye no yenko ne yentie kakra ne yento aso.
Your Excellency, though it's a bit belatedly, but since you beckon us to be here, I'm rather turning it around. We graciously welcome you, sir, to our first meeting as the Standing Committee of the National House of Chiefs. We graciously do welcome you, and once again, congratulations. You've done well, and as majority of us anticipated.
Right. And that was yena na mampohen da sebo sebunsu na obehu na nanu matran konwa nge obehu no yena na chebi man hene wo ho na mampohen na mpoman hene na nanu matran konwa the President of National House of Chiefs wonu nyina wo ho na edi ne siye John Dramani Mahama we president say wono ye politician na no kurim se Ghana mamra no Chieftaincy Act ne kire se wo esese nananom na asem bi efa atenankonwa nsem traditions and culture wono hunu se ne pensu ya wasaba de toso mi de sankofa yi eyade a o pese o jani nyina de ma nananom na nananom esiesi fi se wo ba ye wo hunu se ensem efa amara ni amane ni ahenie hu bebre koso a wono hunu se ese ejama nananom no mo kan na no kuremu sanete Ghana Constitution no ekire se ye wo mampani ne mum na nanom atrankonya na ye the custodians of the land omuna ansase ni bibia yom de sana etie Mr. President say senei wo frɛ won mo a ene no wo kyerem se de besi ewo nkonyasɛm ho wo srɛ se wo di jama na nanom ti babia ye territorial authority ye ohene bia de na ye ne dia asɛm yi emu odu yi na yen konkomo num na yentie nkomo yi wei yɛ n'amampɔhene na ɔbɔ amanneɛ na wɔdi nkɔmmɔ kakra tie nsɛm a wɔkaa no yɛwie a deɛ nsɛm a Mr. President kaeɛ no ɛne deɛ mɛhunu wɔ akyire mede bɛka ho ama wo.
To our first meeting as the Standing Committee of the National House of Chiefs. We graciously do welcome you, and once again, congratulations. You've done well, and as majority of us anticipated, that you go through our normal constitutional provisions, etc., etc., Ghana is safe. We thank you again for that. There's peace prevailing in the kingdom. If the outgoing, illustrious president couldn't set a good tone or set a good tone, a lot depended on you as incoming. Fortunately for Nananum and our respective kingdoms, you graciously also extended your arm with good, ample opportunity for you to meet the president, outgoing president, and the two of you together, everything prevailed calm for Mother Ghana. We thank you once again for that. This is an important and impromptu meeting, if just so honest, but as you touched on, we shall reserve a lot of the detailed discussion, because there's a lot to be done. Because most of us have, at least I got to do it through TV3, that our ministry is no more the ministry as it is. There's a lot to be done structurally, and also with regard to how we interpret our constitutional standing and provisions, and vis-a-vis the Chieftaincy Act. What is most important to most of us is right down from the word go. I think this is an opportunity for us, the National House of Chiefs, to once again go back and reassert ourselves. J.J. Rollins set the tune after taking over and created chieftaincy, etc., and so on. Those of us who are old men now, I had my 86th birthday 4 or 5 days ago. That is 31st December, you already know it. He re-established the Secretariat under National House of Chiefs, the then President, etc. So we had direct control, direct negotiations, dealings with the presidency, till subsequently other leaders changed it. These are opportunity for us to review all those situations and masters, but we shall talk about it in detail when it is time. And then also, what is so vital to us is the standing and the role of our staff. If we go back to the parent law, constitution, it is Our Excellency the President that ought to provide staffing for the National House of Chiefs, regional houses of chiefs to work and tick properly. Nowhere does anybody encounter civil service commission, whatnot. They stay in Accra over here and sit over here, and they can go over our head and promote somebody from Kumasi just to cite that off the record without our knowing or hearing anything about it. It is the president that ought to provide staffing for the regional houses per se and the National House. All these are detailed issues you shall work on and shall go by. And then you also graciously hinted about some portions of the Constitution that ought to be touched on, amended, molded, and whatnot to make it a living document. We are graciously ready. We've got some of our old documents there. We remember when old Professor Mills created this Constitutional Review Committee. Nanano did not sleep. I think it was under Professor Debile's period or so. We sat down, did some yeoman's work, homework properly. Sleepless nights. We presented them to him. And then what happened? Virtually 99.9% of what we recommended were just jettisoned and thrown away. We still have the documents available. So when it is time and you graciously invite us and give us a chance, we will be humble enough to admit hard facts and let you know what we put down on paper. Because most of them, if they had been implemented, a lot of the headaches wouldn't have expired now, or transpired as it is pertaining at the moment in our country. Luckily, we have our mother Ghana, who always control us to exhibit good temperament of moderation. So please, from regional houses' point of view, at least from the Ashanti one, and before even I conclude, your old friend, Otumfuo, graciously, thank you, sir. We are here to listen to you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Enti, that was Yana Mampohine, that's the real Sebunsu. Me amidim ampo kontochebu here kumanana, amani amponana. Na wachechre mwa, eniemwa, ewomwa, abaya juma yefua wanomo ehwe ministry nso niema ya no wanomo ye no na mampohine agina na no nemu se Mahama abaya enei yeni chieftaincy ministry bi we are enei ekwakwhye under the local government na se no wonhwe se wone nanano betena se na afi the president in charge of National House of Chiefs no aye the necessary appointment to the regions afi adwumadie bi a president pese wodie bia no nanano mo aye ready say won be stanichi I had the reason so e no like it no the comments awa nti gutie ye nanama mponhene strategic welcoming address our map Mr. President Wamuna who said there's a kingdom and there's Otumfuo and there's a traditional systems that rules, and the only thing is that they will cooperate with the government, but they won't surrender to the government. And Mr. President knows it. In fact, we are Africans and we are Ghanaians and we have traditions and culture. Politicians must pay attention to details. Yesterday, and Anonymous say, form and form. Now, Mr. President, so yes, Obekasa. Yenti, Mr. President, so Nano Sewa, or the two.
In all the security briefings I've got after December 7th, the issue of chieftaincy disputes has become a major issue. Anytime a chief passes away, and a new chief has to be selected, invariably 2 rival chiefs or 3 rival chiefs suddenly appear. In the 1992 Constitution, it was decided from the unpleasant experiences of the past where government used to interfere in chieftaincy matters to leave the issue of chieftaincy completely to the chiefs themselves. That is the National House of Chiefs and the regional houses of chiefs. But then I do think that there are issues that come up, especially with the selection of new chiefs that creates security crisis. And so when law and order breaks down, government is called in to protect the peace. And so I think that we must work with you to see how we can prevent this from happening. I know when I came through your palaces, many of you raised the issue of the Supreme Court ruling barring chiefs from summoning their subjects to their palaces. And so when the opportunity comes to look at the Constitution again, I'm sure that you have a position that you can present to be able to look at that aspect of it in order that we are able to make clear what the lines of authority are in respect of our traditional rulers.
Right. So that was the president. Na watching na woman panina was a woman who said one day or buy and who said to me no nanan hone won't the farm amreni amani who name kunya sem ujani na edima nananom. Eya sempa nina said nananum and ebe tenase no one nanan so who said no kuremu or man chechire no any politician for one kwa nemum. Nananum so one son one by a kakuru chichere the anka nananum nimukuro chichere. No kura say yana nanum nim se de chichiri kuro ansa na amanyofo ba na wono kura na tete amanyofo no yana nanum na tete wo mu nti no kura no na Mr. President so de ato yanti de yesre se ma obi nkɔhye politician bi achi na wonfa nkeka ni patri mum firi se pani aka se yemfa ni hanan kɔ aprinkensi mafie. I the reason so na yen santie asem we Mr. President ye kasa no o ka asem bi o ha sei yenti ase ne ento aso.
This was to see how we can increase the involvement of chiefs in the governance architecture that we have. There are some things that we need your influence to support government to be able to achieve. Protection of the environment is one of them. The traditional areas belong to you, but there's government agencies like the EPA and all those agencies that are supposed to have the legal mandate to protect the environment. But I mean, the EPA is sitting here in Accra. How many offices do they have in your traditional areas? So if somebody moves into a forest reserve and starts cutting trees down, the chief has absolutely no power to stop the person. And most of the time, the person will come with a license from Accra and say, "Oh, they gave me a license. This is my concession. I've come to cut timber." And so, how do we get the chiefs, better involved so that there's a synergy between government and our traditional authorities? These are all issues that have been agitating my mind, and I raised them during the campaign. And so, I do think that when we have the opportunity, we'll be able to discuss it. And then, when the opportunity comes to look at the overarching law of the land, which is the Constitution, maybe you might have some ideas that we can include there so that we're better able to harness the influence that you have in your areas to be able to do things. And so these are just a few. There are many more things I'll brief you on when the media has left, but these are the few remarks that I'll make. And again, say a very warm welcome all of you, and to thank you very much for answering to our call. Thank you.
Right. So, Mr. President, be on side to da what Chirimu say, Nananum, my SOM get involved in, especially say yes, environment. Galam say Samu Yechuya, Nananum Yanes, and non as SOM Environmental Protection Agency, and SOM and Nananum the team como. I know correct. Ye queen Timamufono or Mamufono. Mufa munyim na munyi na masitere se na ye daachi o sikani bia betena ha se wo man no wo se kuro ndia na wodi bejaye man mu for mon kan kire mo na mo mwane asantima mu hiame afiwe asantima mu mabunu ba bia wo ka asantima ho yen hyase na yedi ehunu enkoye na ebe se ye daachi no yen kan kire na nanom I had the reason so your friend what share ba mama fancy say na mama into comment section emergency meeting ya Mr. President ne Nananom Atrankanwa, which is National House of Chiefs presidents for nyina akohia ye no wo so de ne say ye beto aso ya no like video no drop comments ama me ye beto aso me da se pa